Welcome to day 2 of the Easter Camp Art Kits Pinch Pot Animals, presented by the Allied Arts Council of Lethbridge. Remove one of the bags of recycled clay from your art kit and divide it in half. You're going to be using the remainder of the clay for another project this week, so just hold on to it and keep it safe by either placing it back into the plastic bag it came in or by covering it in cling wrap. Take about a third of the clay that you have in front of you and start to make the pinch pot body. We're going to be doing this by creating first a small ball in the palm of your hands, rolling the clay back and forth until all of the edges are smoothed together. This clay has been pre-kneaded, which means we don't need to knead the clay at all. Once you're happy with your ball, you're going to sink your thumb approximately 2/3 of the way through. And then use our fingers on the outside to start pinching the clay into a cup. While you're working, you might find that there are small surface cracks that start appearing. You can use a little bit of water on your fingertips to merge those two sides of the crack back together. You don't need to add too much additional water, as this clay is already very soft, as it was recently recycled. Rather than show you how to make only one animal, we wanted to give you the option to make whichever one was your favorite. So this tutorial is going to show you different steps for creating the different components of many different animals, but you can customize it to the one that you'd like to make. Once you've completed the body, you now have something that you can play with scale with. Take more pieces of clay from the lump that's left over and start making components such as the head and the limbs and the tail. To make the head, start by making a small ball. You might find that as you go, you need to take some of the clay off because you've overestimated how large the head is going to be. You can either leave the ball solid, or you can make another small cup similar to the way that you made the body. We'll show you how to attach these components in a little bit, but first, let's make all the different limbs that are necessary. Periodically check on the object that you're currently making and how it feels in relation to the body that you've already created. You can then use your wooden tools or your fingers to kind of trim the clay to a more proportional size. If you've decided to make a hollow head for your clay animal, you'll need to make sure that there is airflow between the different components. This is most easily done by creating a small hole where the head is going to attach. Continue creating all the various limbs and tails and different components of your animal before you go ahead and attach anything. We'll show you the proper steps for how to do so in the next piece of this video. Of course, if you forget anything along the way, that's not a problem. You should have ample clay in order to create any pieces that you might have missed initially. Once you have the majority of the various pieces that you need, we're going to start attaching them to the body. The primary method that we're going to do this with is called scoring, which is done by creating cross-hatching on both pieces. Cross-hatching simply means that you're going to be creating strokes into the clay in 2 different directions or more. Then you're going to add a little bit of water with your fingertip to both areas. Place the components on a stable surface and begin to smooth the edges together. We created our cross-hatching to act almost like a Velcro between the 2 surfaces, and this smoothing out is going to help to make sure that that joint is extra secure. If you run a little shy and you're worried about one of the joints, you can always add a little bit of clay to that surface just to make sure that the connection is strong. As you continue to add to your animal, you might find that there are spaces that you want to be symmetrical. We found it was easiest to attain this by actually picking up and tracing around the object in order to know where you're going to score and place it eventually. You may find as you continue to work that there are edits that you need to make, whether that's making something smaller by taking it off, or making a connection a little bit firmer by adding additional clay. If you're using your tools for smoothing the texture of the clay out and you're finding that it's leaving drag marks, it may be worth it just to clean up your tool a little bit by applying a bit of water to the end. If you've decided that you'd like your animal to have a hollow body, Rather than a cup body, just make sure that you add an airflow hole much in the same way that you would have if you added a hollow head to your sculpture. If you're concerned about the thickness of your clay in any area of your sculpture, you can create an airflow hole much in the same way that the person on the right hand side of the screen just did for their sculpture. This helps to ensure that the drying rate is relatively similar across the whole sculpture and that no one area gets too dry too quick. Add texture and detail work to your sculpture once you have all the major components attached. Once you're happy with your sculpture, you'll need to store it somewhere that it can rest undisturbed while it dries. We recommend placing it either on a wooden board or newspaper and covering it with either a bowl or plastic wrap while it dries.